Well, I've done some radio the last couple days, and that interviews, and that's been brought up, and you think about them and you appreciate them and all year, but not. My big message is it's senior day. Obviously, for them, it's it's a special moment, your last home game, but there's so much more basketball to play and so many more things to accomplish that I hope they don't get in that mindset that this is it. This is just another step along the way. So I hope they embrace it. The other guys, we always talk about, honor the seniors by playing your butts off. But at the same time, we got a lot more that we can do here in this next month.
Dean was the only one of the three guys who had much buzz coming in as a recruit. What do you think it is just about these three guys that they could mesh and turn into such a good group of guys?
Well, I think they care. They're coachable. I think that's a big thing. They wanted to do well. They, Barry had a chip on his shoulder. He wasn't recruited as highly as, a lot of kids in that Florida area, and he thought he was, he should have been, and so he had something to prove. I think he comes, there's a saying that we've used since the last few years, each day you got to come with a chip on your shoulder with something to prove, or you'll never improve. And he's done that. And then Cam was a little guy. He was recruited, mid-majors, and he thought he should have been a higher, have a chance to play at the higher level. And so he's, that same determination. And even Dean, I mean, he had a little more hype, but he still, was a small-town Kansas kid. So all of them kind of had that same drive and determination to prove people wrong.
Bruce, this will be the lowest scoring team in Big 12 history ever to make an NCAA tournament. How unique is this group?
Well, I think that to me it's their resilience, their perseverance to deal with injuries, to deal with illnesses, to deal with all the things they've done, and they've stayed the course. They've stayed focused on winning, I still think at times we're better offensively than people give us credit for. And we've had some good stretches when we've been healthy. I mentioned, I think last week, Drew told me there was a 6-7 game stretch where we were a top 10 offensive efficiency team, in the country. So, we've had some good runs, but then when you don't have bodies and you don't have practice, it's tough to maintain that. The other thing, we guard so well that people use up a lot of shot clock, so there aren't as many possessions, on the other end. So I guess when you all add it up, they bought into it. They it's kind of their DNA, and they're proud of it, and they've made the most of it. And but at the same time, I just talk with the coaches, that if we can get a little practice time here over the next 2 weeks as we proceed into postseason, it would be nice to get a little sharper offensively. So that's not our, Achilles heel that, that we couldn't score in a big moment or whatever it might be.
In this day and age, how unusual is it to have three seniors that have been together and 4 years?
Yeah, it's not. There's probably not a lot of them that, if you go through it and to see the success they've had, individually, team-wise, so it's a special group, and I hope people really embrace them and appreciate what they've done and what they're about.
On the health front, has Dean got more practice like you'd hoped, and would Mark still be like a big bowl tournament at the early?
Yeah, Dean, I thought he played a little better last weekend because he actually had some reps Thursday and Friday. I mean, he didn't go full practice, but, he actually got involved a little bit. And I think some of it's mental, some of it's rhythm, some of it's balance. And this week we had off Tuesday. Yesterday they shot, but when he's shooting, instead of standing there and shooting free throws and spot threes, he's actually moving a little bit. So I think that helps him. Cam's the one that, he's still dealing with, migraines. He's still dealing with foot injury. So, he hasn't had as much. But, hopefully, get a little more practice time here down the stretch, and then Cardi just he's cleared to do a little bit 5-on-0, some really controlled stuff, probably for another few days just to see how he reacts to it. We got to take small steps, and he's just, 3 weeks out, I think. So we're entering the 4th week.
How do you think this team will handle playing with championship pressure on Saturday?
I think we played with championship pressure every day, and we played it last year in the Elite Eight. It's nothing. We played it in the NCAA. We played it when they were sophomores to get into the NCAA tournament. So I think they've been through it, and I don't think it'll. To me, it's preparation. That's my little messages to them have been about being prepared mentally. Understand your opponent. Understand every game is different. That's kind of the things we've talked about all year.
Another two-part question here. Number one, what was your reaction to KU's streak officially ending? And number two, because it happened in the Oklahoma game and Oklahoma beating them as emphatically as they did, how much of a, motivation that gives you guys to walk in and ready?
Well, one, you got to give Kansas credit for what they've done. It's pretty amazing, to be honest. And this is I got to actually get to USA Today when I'm on the road, and I got one this morning, and they talked about how good the league has been. This is not a powder puff league. The last it's been number 1 RPI almost every year. So they've been able to do it in a league where there is pretty good competition, 7, 8 teams in tournament play. So you got to give them credit. Obviously, if you, for us, we always talk about you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. We were able to beat them once, to have a chance to overcome them. And but the motivation part, one that knocked them out of the loop, and it gave us 1 or 2 for sure. But it also hopefully caught the players' attention how well Oklahoma's playing. After losing 5 in a row, Lon's done a great job. They've won 4 out of 5. Their only losses to Iowa State at Iowa State. And, just seem to be catching a little rhythm here down the stretch. They've gone more small ball, unorthodox, posting you up, ISOs, doing a little different things on defense. And, I think I hope it was a good thing to get our guys' attention to realize, hey, these guys are for real. Even though we beat them double digits at their place, they seem to be playing at a high level right now, and they're still fighting for their, life. They want to get in the NCAA tournament. I think they should be in, but I'm sure all of those guys, we've been through it before. You just can't. You want to solidify it. And obviously, if they get another road victory against the top 20 team, that really helps them.
You've seen teams start switching you a lot on man, and Oklahoma does that too. Is that something you guys got more comfortable with after seeing it for maybe 2 games in a row now?
Oh, it's been going on all year. It went on last year, and sometimes we're pretty smooth. I think that's where the practice part of, keeping the ball moving, the rhythm, playing with each other. They don't play together other than getting to the games. So, I think that's part of it. And then when we go 5-on-0, which we've been able to do, you can't simulate switching. They switched. Now what do we got? And and that's what we've done a little bit in the games, just kind of stand and not move. And that's a key, for us, especially definitely on Saturday, because we got to deal with all their switching, something they've been really good at.
Since the seniors' first game, they were very much back in 2015. How have they kind of grown up and matured just as players and leaders and stuff?
Well, they thought they were ready. I think they found out they weren't ready. I joke about, you could tell when Dean, he'd get all white-faced and snot would be coming out of his nose, and he'd be huffing and puffing and ask out 2 minutes into the game. And, Barry would be flying all over the place and not getting a whole lot done. And actually, Cam was probably the most ready, I think, maturity-wise, and had, number-wise, he had the freshman year. He was the most successful. But, they've grown defensively. Basketball I always say I did my job if they become basketball junkies and know the game. And I think I would say it watching them. I hope they say they've learned the game. That means our staff has done a good job.
There's just from where the program was in 2015, 2014-15 season, where you've gotten to with these guys in terms of consistency of effort, consistency of attitude. To speak to.
I think that's it's a major part of our success. And, we've kind of, after that, I've kind of, maybe a little bit of Coach Snyder. I don't think he has the exact same thing, but, act the right way, treat people the right way, and play the game the right way. And K-State people will really appreciate it, and you'll probably leave some kind of legacy here. And that's what we've kind of, it's simple and short, but it's kind of life too. If you want a success in life, act the right way, treat people the right way, care about them, and go to work every day and do it the right way. And usually you have success. So, and I think that's what there's no doubt they've been the leaders that have done that have showed the example for everybody else.
The Tech Iowa State game being a 1, you guys gonna try to block that out, or are you gonna know full well going to the game?
Well, we'll know. There's no way you can block it out. You're going to know if they won or lost. And, but we can't, and I know you guys always ask the guys after, did you know the score? And that they don't know. Somebody's going to tell them, this, obviously it's a 1-3. If it was a 2-4, we'd be warming up. They might not know, but it's going to be hard to hide that. But it's still, totally our preparation, our mindset. And I think they've been pretty good about it. We've had a couple slip-ups, but I think they've been pretty good about really preparing and being ready for people.
Is there a Big 12 player of the year in your eyes?
To me, it's always if you win. Whoever wins it, I think has a chance. Now, if we tie, it's going to be probably a coin flip. But, Barry has done so much for our program. And, he's had to do it when Dean and Cam he hasn't had the guys with them the whole time, and he's still been able to carry the load. So it's pretty impressive.
How proud are you of this team? And I say that given the fact that, Texas Tech and you guys are 1 and 2 in the league in scoring defense, but Tech is averaging 72 points a game, and you're averaging 66 points a game. Just the fact that not only are you successful despite scoring fewer points, but you're succeeding at the highest level. I think it's
Well, I obviously I'm proud of them. Like I said, just that they bought in. They bought in the winning, finding ways to win, being resilient with all the different scenarios we've had to go through, with injuries and illnesses and schedule and all the different things. And I think that's what makes me proud. I think you can always analyze stats. I'm not, I know there's analytics and all in baseball and now basketball, but it's finding a group that wants to play together, that cares about winning, that finds a way to win. That's when they can be successful.
In terms of consistency, what do you still hope trying to encourage out of Mike McGraw?
Mike is, somebody asked, I think Wyatt asked the other night, he's had pretty good success. I think we brought him in. I told Coach Fraser a couple weeks ago, bring him in, tell him to watch himself. And he has to accept what he is. Right now, he doesn't have to make the big plays. I think he's calmed down with that instead of rushing in there. And I always tell him, don't run into the wall. If there's a wall there, please jump stop and pass it to somebody or take a shot. And I think he's doing that better. He's defending, playing his butt off, and part of a pretty successful team. And he's going to have somewhere along the way here, like the West Virginia game, he's going to pop up and have a game where he gets, 5-6 buckets like he did at the Creighton game, West Virginia. He's had a few of those, and that still can come. I think so, and that's the other thing. I just talked to coaches. I just said to you guys at the beginning that this Saturday's important, but there's a lot more to go, and we got to keep improving. You know, and I hope the guys have that drive to keep doing that because, you know, they had a taste of postseason last year, and you know, it just doesn't happen. You got to go get it, and you got to be ready for it.